Hello, everyone, and welcome to Jack's Math Notebook. Today, we're going to study the slope-intercept form of a linear equation as represented by y equals mx plus b. And let's learn what these variables represent, or these letters represent. Well, we can start with y. Y is the dependent variable or output. The letter m stands for the slope of the line. X stands for the independent variable or input, and B is the y-intercept. And so let's take a look at how to arrive at a linear equation with a graph like this, where we have a slope that is slightly slanted in the positive direction because R represents right and is up, and L represents left, which is down. And when you have a high right, you have a positive slope. And the question is, how is this y equals mx plus b is equivalent to y is equal to 1/3 x plus 2? How did we get the 1/3 and how do we get the plus 2? And we're going to answer that question. Well, we have this table of values, and this table of values is the secret to how we get this linear equation. And so here's how we're going to find 1/3 first. Well, we notice with our input values of x, we have a -9, a -6, a -3, 0, 3, 6. It is increasing by 3. That is the change in x. So it's changing by a positive 3 as we go along the continuum of the input values of x. And on the other hand, we have y. Y is the output value, and it is increasing by a positive 1 because we have a -1, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. And that lets us know that it's increasing by 1 as we go along the continuum of y. And so what we're going to do, we're going to use rise over run x, or I should say y over x, because the slope represents the change in y over the change in x. And as you can see, the change in y is a positive 1, and the change in x is a positive 3. Hence, we have our slope of this y equals mx plus b equation, and that's how we arrived at 1/3. And x would be just any value that we can plug in here, and we just plug it in here, and then we're going to plug it, then we're going to add 2 to it, and you probably ask, well, where did the 2 come from? Well, this is the y-axis, and this line crisscrosses the y-axis at a positive 2, and we're going to have to include that to figure out how how do we get 0 as an output when we plug in -6 as an input. And so let's do that. We're going to use this equation right here to figure out, well, how did the input -6 turned into 0 as its y value? Well, here's what's going to happen right here. So we have this -6 for our x value, which we're going to plug it in right here. And so we have 1/3 of -6. All we're going to do is just multiply this -6 times 1, and now we have a -6 divided by 3, which gives us a -2. A -2 plus 2 gives us 0. That's how it works. Pretty simple, huh? And so let's take a look at -3 and see how a positive 1 came out as its output value. And so we have our -3 right here, and let's plug it in. A -3 times 1 will give us a -3 divided by 3, which will give us a -1. A -1 plus 2 gives us a 1. Same with 0. Let's plug in 0. 0 times 1 is 0. 0 divided by 3 is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. And of course, we'll do the same thing with 3 because 3 times 1 will give us 3. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 plus 2 is 3. And that's how we have it right there. This is how we know we have our values in the right place. And then guess what? We can make ordered pairs out of these. A -9 comma -1, a -6 comma 0, which we have right here, a -3 comma 1 right here, so on and so forth, 0, 2, 3, 3. And then what we can do, we can stair step it to determine the slope as well, just to make sure that we're all on the right track. Because if we go up 1 over 3 like that, okay, and then we can just keep going like this, 1 over 3. we'll get it. Or I should say that it's really right here. That's the way our slope's working right there. I should have started right here to create this slope. And I'll fix that. And we could just keep doing that. And it will just keep working as it does right there, creating the slope. In fact, what I'm going to do, I am going to erase that and start all over. Make those lines agree so we can see it to eliminate confusion. Let me start right here. Up 1/3. There we go. 1/3. Up 1/3. Up 1/3. Rise over run. So we rise 1/3. Rise 1/3. Rise 1/3. So we can stair step it as well to determine the slope of any line, or the equation of a line right here is represented by y equals 1/3 x plus 2. You have been given a lot of information, and this would be a great time to pause the video if you like, or replay this video as many times you need to gain a deeper understanding of the slope-intercept form of a linear equation. But in the meantime, comment, share, like, and I repeat, like and subscribe to Jack's Math Notebook for more content. Thank you and goodbye.